Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing how to grow your business. So I got a question from Dante. Do you have an Excel calculator for averaging expenses for renovating a home? So I actually do have a few Excel sheets. I provide them. If you want them, I can give them to you. But I highly recommend you don't do them. Now, if you are buying virtually, it is a way to start. But if you're going to see the property, I think it's a mistake. So this idea that, well, it's a 1,000 square foot house and the guy says it needs light reservation, so I'm going to figure $25, so it needs $25,000. To me, it's just straight up lunacy. Now, I know there are certain buyers who work things that way. I never work things that way, right? I go to see the house or I get pictures of the house and I say, okay, this needs a kitchen. Kitchen, how much is the kitchen going to cost me? So in my area, I know what a kitchen is going to cost me. I operate in other areas. I have an idea from other, contractors there how much a kitchen is going to cost me. It needs a bathroom. Okay, one bathroom is fine. Maybe I just change a toilet in the vanity. That's $800. I need a whole new bathroom here. That's $6,000, whatever it is. That's how I work. And the reason why I don't like doing the whole, well, this needs a light renovation and therefore I'm going to just multiply the square footage is A, you don't always know what square footage is. It's not always what you think it is. B, there are a lot of things in houses that can be salvaged right now. If you know everything needs to be done, then you can work a calculator. But very often there are things that don't need to be done, right? And I used to really, for the first 4 years I was in business, I looked at every property to completely gut renovate. And I wanted to be Tarek El Moussa from Flip or Flop, and I wanted open concept, and I wanted everybody to ooh and ah like they do on the show. And I was an idiot, right? And I still remember the first house I bought that I didn't need to do everything, right? It's 288 Travis Avenue in Elmont. And it had one bathroom that was only like 6 or 7 years old. And I had a huge internal conflict of whether I should gut that bathroom or not. And I didn't gut it, and I don't think I sold it for any less because of it. And I remember another property, I used to always convert everything from oil to gas. And I remember another property that had a brand new gas boiler. And I didn't change it, and it was very difficult for me not to change it. But what I realized is that I didn't sell for any less. So it took me about 4 years, so 6 or 7 years ago, I finally realized I should not be looking to do everything. I should be looking to do as little as possible to get things done. Now, I still wholesale to people who look at it that same way. I need to gut renovate and do a completely new job, and my house has to be beautiful. And some of these guys make a ton of money after I wholesale a deal for them, and I have no problem. But I have no regrets, ever, that when I looked at a house, I did as little as possible. Never. Because I believe firmly that you want to do as little as possible for a few reasons. Number one is you can always do more work. Always, right? If I don't do a bathroom and then everybody comes in and says, hey, this house is great, but the bathroom's gross, I can redo the bathroom. That's number one. I can always do more. Number two, everything you do, not everything, but a lot of times the things you do lead to more things. So you're going to do a bathroom, you rip out the tiles, then you find out there's all kinds of crap behind there that need to be done. Everything was working, but it's all rusty, and therefore you're going to replace it. Things lead to more things, and that takes more time. That's really three. It takes more time. So I want to do things as quickly and as minimally, as little as to do there as possible. And I always feel like I could do more. Now, obviously, if I'm not completely gut renovating the house, I may not get ARV numbers, right? After repaired value numbers, completely gut renovated house numbers. But if I can shoot for a little less, I feel like I've made the right decision if I've done less work. Now, there are things that you could spend money on that'll give you a big return on your money. It depends on your area. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on what exactly you're doing, right? I know people that'll redo windows even when the windows are good. Everybody's got their own system that they use. But, oh, my computer's not straight. But I feel very strongly that you want to do less. Now, with the concept in mind that you want to do less, you can't use a whole spreadsheet to do it, right? And also, if I give you a spreadsheet, it may not be applicable where you're going to do work, right? I know my numbers in my areas because I've done work there. But it can be very different if you go take that to a different area, which is why a lot of these spreadsheets that pretend to know everything don't really work. These are really the reasons. I firmly believe, I can't tell you how much I would recommend you do less work than more work to start. Now, is there some kind of loss on redundancy where if I have to bring a contractor back because I didn't do this work now, yes. But if you can save yourself $30,000 on a rehab and then sell the property for $20,000. What I'm looking for? So if I hold back on work for $30,000, that's gonna still get me $20,000 more. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So let's take it back. If I'm going to do a $20,000 job on this property to get $30,000, $40,000 profit, and if I'm going to do a $60,000 job and make $70,000 profit, it doesn't make any sense, right? I'd rather just do less work. So people are afraid of selling a property that's not perfect. I am not. I was for years. I learned my lesson. So I don't really believe in this whole spreadsheet thing and figuring it out, because again, it's different everywhere, right? I'm doing some jobs in El Paso, Texas now. Labor's much cheaper, right? Materials are similar, but labor's much cheaper. So I could do, a whole house sometimes for $35,000. Here, it cost me $70 to do it. So that's just how it works. I would say it's important for everybody to understand that. Everybody should understand that these quick fix rules of certain number per square foot or spreadsheets that I plug in, well, it needs a new roof. Well, it's going to be $7,000. Guess what? Roofing is different in a lot of places too. I use a roofer who's got a roofing license and roofing insurance. He's a little more expensive, but he's great and he stands by his work, right? Could I hire some guy from Home Depot to go get up there and nail shingles? Sure. But if he breaks his neck, I'm screwed. And if the roof starts to leak the first time there's a heavy rain, I can't find this guy back at Home Depot, right? But my guy, I know I'll come back to. So there's certain things you should be wanting to pay more for. In general, I can tell you what they are. Roofing is really important that you want somebody good because it protects everything. Okay, if you do a crappy job on the roof and you spend $50,000 inside the house and the guy didn't do a good job roofing, a lot of your $50,000 can get screwed up when it rains inside the house, right? In general, things you pay for, you have to think about this, right? Insurance, roofing, luggage, these are things that protect your other things. You want to spend more money on those, even though it seems like you want to spend less. So I think it's important that you understand that it's very hard to make an all-encompassing spreadsheet or an all-encompassing idea of what things should cost. I would stay away from it, especially since I believe you should be looking at every project as what's the least amount I can do here to make a decent profit, right? That's not how I looked at it for years. I looked at it as what else can I do, right? I remember one of the first properties I did in Valley Stream, I put on this very expensive nail light, what was it called? Cedar shingles on the front, and I didn't need it, and it cost a couple $1,000s of that I did not need, and I made it open concept. I didn't need to do that. You need to know your area. You're going to learn over time. All right, Regina, wholesale question. Once a price is agreed upon with the seller, what's the next step? Ask if they have an attorney and have their attorney draft the contract to my attorney? Exactly. Should the authorized sign anything before that just to make it agreed on binding? Yeah, whatever you have is not binding, right? I have lost deals in that process. I have a column of people that have said yes to me and then have not sold to me or have not sold at all. So you're not going to be bound until his attorney, once a seller agrees to your price, until his attorney sends a contract to your attorney. That's what it is. And I'm going to break some bad news to you. That could take weeks or months sometimes even. So that's the next step. Do you have an attorney? Yes? Great. Give me his name. Let me give you my attorney's name. Let's talk about a few things that we need to talk about, like how much I'm going to give for a deposit. I can't put down 10%. I'd literally go out of business. So, I'm going to give you $5,000. I'm going to need to show it once or twice. I want to maybe put that in the contract just to potential buyers and contractors. And 3 is I need the contract assignable because a lot of my private lenders like to move these things the day before the closing, and I want to make sure you get paid the day of the closing. So you got to plant those 3 seeds, right? Showing it, assignability, because standard contract in New York is not assignable. Clause 26 says no assignability, and showing it. So you want to plant those seeds so that attorney gets it from you. So the attorney gets it from him when your attorney says, hey, I need it assignable, and I'm not giving you $30,000 as a deposit. All right, so I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways that were helpful, if you're interested in all the ways that can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com or learntoflipandwholesale.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help the algorithm. A lot more people seeing my videos, so thank you very much for everybody that's been liking it. Please keep the questions coming. I don't know what to say. I post week. I have no clue what to talk about. I want to answer your questions, so please continue to ask them. They don't have to be about the video you're watching. They can be about anything. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I've covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video. And if it's something that I haven't covered in a while or never covered, I'll do a brand new video on it. Thank you very much for watching.